Coach, BC has had
There you go.
several head coaches since joining the ACC, but the identity of the team seems to have kind of stayed the same over the years. Big physical team likes to run the ball. Is this group any different, Coach O'Brien?
Same old BC. They take pride in smash mouth football. They lead with the run. They got a dynamic quarterback, which may be a little bit different than some teams in the past, just with his style of play. But overall, they want to line up and come at you, and they're going to get in there. 12, 13 personnel. So they get into some sets where they don't even have a wide receiver on the field, and they just come at you. So that's all I know is BC football, regardless of who's been who's been the head coach.
You want to get healthy.
That's right.
What's everybody's status, and do you feel like you're able to accomplish that very well?
Yeah, it was a good week. We were able to get good positive work and a head start on BC, but also excited to get some guys back. I think Boley's ready to go. Ty Furnish is back. Pretty much everybody that we were hoping to get back at this juncture is back. Trail's still day to day, but we anticipate that by the end of the week he should be ready to go. Tyree's back, so we feel we now got to make it through another practice. Because again, just in reference to the previous question, we've had to increase the intensity to get ready for not just this game but the rest of the schedule. I think the rest of the schedule was all ACC play. I know Notre Dame's technically not. I consider Notre Dame in the league. We got to play them, so the rest of the games are going to be physical, tough games. So hopefully we can stay healthy until the next bye week. Oh, now Sage is actually going to be down for the season. So obviously we knew about Jason with his shoulder, had surgery, and then Sage is going to actually re-injure his knee, so he'll be down for the season.
BC has a great edge rusher
Yeah.
in the rock room.
Yeah.
What do you see there? I guess how do you handle tackle situation with Bowley just coming
That's right.
Whitmer having played well, knowing the tough matchup?
Hey, they got to be ready to go. And this is what you look forward to as a competitor, to play somebody. I think he's one of the best in the country. He's got a bunch of sacks. He's very disruptive. He plays on both sides, so you can't get away from him, right? And Boley's got to be ready to go. Obviously, with a couple weeks of practice now, we feel good. We'll see how his conditioning is when we get there. Just like any great pass rusher, you're going to have a plan for him. You got to know where he's at all times. But the problem is it's not just Donovan on the other side, number 4. He's a pretty good pass rusher in his own right, and so it's going to be exciting to see how our guys respond to the challenge. But we got to play fundamental football, right? What we can't do is we can't get caught up in the matchup. We got to figure out what we need to do, play in and play out from a fundamental standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, to give ourselves the best chance to go win. They got to study a lot of tape. Try to anticipate what some of his moves are. So he's got great primary moves. He's got good secondary moves. He's got a good spin move. So they got to study and be prepared, and then they got to go out and perform.
And then just to think back to last year's game, is it something you would address with the team? Is it one that stuck with you guys, given that it was
Yeah.
just slipped away?
I think I haven't made a ton of reference to it. I know some of the other coaches may have pointed it out. I think we all understand what happened in that game in the second half. They wanted it more than we did, and they started leaning on us, and they went back to doing what they do and run the football, and we didn't accept the challenge. I think one of the bigger things to point out for us is we're 1-7, as a program versus BC, and so there's a lot of significance in this game from a pride standpoint, and we got the 1989 team is going to be back in town, 35th anniversary. So we got a lot of things that we're focusing on, necessarily what's in front of us, not so much what's behind us. But I know some position groups in particular have talked about it. I haven't made reference to the game much from last year, but I have referenced the fact that we need to change. We talked a lot about with this team being different. And one of the things we want to be different. Well, overall, we need to be different from the standpoint of changing that 1-7 to possibly 2-7, right?
Defensive tackle was not one of your deepest.
That's right.
To begin with, what does Jason's injury do to the rotation now?
Man, I hated for Jason because Jason was really starting to come into his own, and he was playing some really good football for us. Was playing fast, was playing physical, and was taking the primary load from a snap count standpoint. But got next man up, so guys got to step up. So that just means Britton, has got to carry a little bit more load. Diata's got to carry a little bit more load. TT will kind of go inside and outside, and then Bryce Carter's gonna have to step up and give us some snaps, and then obviously will carry a little bit more of a load. So a great opportunity for some of the younger guys and a veteran guy like Diata. But man, Jason, he's just such a fun guy to be around, and really excited about his future. We just got to wait a little while, and he had a good clean surgery, so he's on his road to recovery. But he was playing some really good football for us, so it is a big hit for us. But next man up, that's football, unfortunately.
Yeah, going off that, what does Britton kind of bring to that position? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he's a big guy.
He's a big guy. He's a big man. He's kind of like Green Mile, right? I don't know if you remember that movie. He doesn't know how strong he is, and I don't think he fully understands yet how good he can be. He was a young man that we identified in the recruiting process, in-state prospect that we thought had a ton of upside. But we knew it was going to take a little while just because the position, he was so raw and the position was new to him. But he's a big man that I think that as he comes into his own, he's hard to move, he's very powerful, and he's got good athleticism for a man that big. And now it's just a function of it all, the game slowing down for him. Unfortunately, he's going to have to take more snaps, so he's going to learn on the job. He's kind of going to be baptized by fire, but I think he's got a ton of upside that I'm excited about. These reps, these additional reps he's going to have to take, hopefully will help him get closer to reaching his potential.
And you've got two safeties kind of near the top of your tackle leaders
Mhm.
this year. Is that just kind of how this defense is designed
Yep.
to kind of highlight those guys? But then also, what does Antonio Violas kind of bring to kind of improve that?
Yeah, so it's designed to stop the run, and obviously whenever you're stopping the run, you got to be gap sound, and so you're going to force things to the safeties, and hopefully they can run the alley and down the football, and then we also want to keep everything in front. And so from a standpoint of those guys, concerning me in terms of being at the top, it's kind of designed for them to be at the top, because the other guys kind of do the dirty work and hold the gaps for them to be able to make tackles. And it's been fun to watch Jonas, come into his own, considering when we first showed up as a staff to where he is now. Man, he's matured in a good way, and he wasn't immature when we got here, but you're just seeing him mature as a football player. And now like the confidence, if you ever talk to him, he's a very confident young man. But you're starting to see, kind of that balance of confidence and leadership, right? So now you hear him out at practice, you see him out at practice, and then Clary's like the old wise man on the back end, man. He can get everybody lined up, and he took full advantage of the year off to prepare himself, physically and mentally, and he's playing extremely fast. And so, I'm very grateful of the work that he put in, but his leadership. So those two guys, and they have different styles. Jonas is a little bit more fiery than AC. AC is just, he's very businesslike, and so it's good to kind of have those two guys back there. And then AC is also taking a great leadership position within the entire team. He's a guy that I can go to and say, AC, can you get this done? Can you inform the guys? And he's taking a lot of ownership over that. So it's awesome when those guys who are, the system is designed for them to be productive. They're being productive, but they're also leading the right way.
How do you hope to build off the great success you had running the ball down at Coastal?
Yeah, and and I've said this from day one, and I'll continue to say it. Man, it starts with running the football. That's where everything starts. Starts with running the ball and stopping the run. And so, hopefully the guys have confidence that, and Coastal's a good football team, right? And hopefully the guys got confidence that if they work together, right, they play with low pads, then we can have success. And then they also now see kind of the impact that it has on the course of the game when you're able to run the football. You can control the clock, you set the tempo. So what we're going to do is we had to evaluate ourselves. with this open week, and that was part of the process, is just to do self-scout to see kind of what schemes we're having the most success with, and then over the last week and a half or so, go and work on those things. But it's really a mindset, and I believe that the guys are really starting to embrace that. Now we know it's going to be a challenge versus BC, 8-man front. They're going to have extra hats right around the football, so the backs are involved too. So they got to run through the smoke, and it's good to see X do some of that, and Kobe's quietly having a good season, right? He's averaging 5 yards a carry, and he's gonna have to hit some dirty runs this week to complement what the offensive line's doing, and then the tight ends. I think every week that goes by, the tight ends are more versed in understanding that they're fit, because to be able to run the football, it's not just the 5 guys on the offensive line. You got to have your tight ends involved, and then we kind of got to figure out from week to week which scheme is fitting best against the defensive structure that we have, and we just got to go out there and try to impose our will. And this is going to be a good test, because man, it's BC, right? That's all I can say. Like for all the years that I've been in the ACC, we played Boston College every year, and man, it didn't matter what the record was. It didn't matter. Man, these dudes are going to show up, and they're going to be hard-nosed guys. Man, they're going to be confident. They're going to be tough, and they're going to try and punch you in the mouth. So I think to answer that question, to sum it up, man, we got to be ready to come out, and we got to attack, and we got to punch first against these guys, and we got to do it with the run game.
As Scott pointed out in your release, you guys are rated out really high in the ACC on your offensive line. How amazed are you that you've been able to do that, considering you got kind of a patchwork line?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not a big stat guy, as y'all probably can tell. Like I don't spend a ton of time. I look at the important ones just to kind of get a view, but I don't harp on it. Just a testament to Coach Heff, and man, I enjoy sitting in his offensive line meetings. So throughout the course of the week, I'll pop into different meetings just to kind of sit in, and I love listening to him teach. He's got a great way of teaching. The guys have really embraced it, and I think they're starting to understand. It doesn't matter who's in there, what the expectation is, and the confidence comes from the preparation. So, man, just excited those guys are having getting some recognition for the success. But man, we're not gonna harp on that, right? At the end of the day, the stat that I'll care about is if they're there at the end of the season, if they got the same recognition, and that's any position, right? But those guys don't ever get enough love. Right, so that's another reason why I spend a lot of time with them, right? Because they get a lot of blame. Actually, they get all the blame when everything's don't go right. But man, they got the hardest job. By far, they have the hardest job because all 5 guys have to be on the same page, and 6 inches changes everything, right? A guy moves 6 inches, man, it changes a lot, and for those that just kind of casually watch football, they're like, well, no, there's a lot that goes into that, and a lot of communication, and it's happening very fast. And the guys that they're blocking are very big, very strong, very violent, and so just happy they're getting some recognition, but we're not going to focus on that, and we're going to focus on, what has generated that, and that's just guys being willing to step up and do their job. And then hopefully as we go down the stretch, you get Boley back, right? That'll be a big piece for us, and then that gives us some flexibility with Jack, right, to keep guys fresh, right? Because I think that's going to be the key. Is as the season goes on, man, can we keep guys healthy and can we keep them fresh? And the more that we have, the better. And then Charlie's back. Charlie was down for a little bit with an ankle, so now we get Charlie back, which gives us another body in there. So I'm pleased with their progress, but I know we still got room to improve.
And you kind of touched on earlier with the tight ends helping in the run game. With Sage down, Dakota is going to get more reps. How far has he come in transition to tight end, especially becoming all-around tight end and working on his blocking?
I tell you what, I was out at practice the other day, and I can't remember. I think it might have been Coach Gaither. I was watching walk through, and I just looked at Dakota and I said, man, I'm so proud of that young man, because it was 2 years, right? It was 2 years, surgery, hamstring, man, and there was probably a time where he didn't know what his football career was going to look like, and to see him having success and becoming one of the most trusted guys, from in the pass game, right? And then he's a big guy. People don't realize he's 240 something pounds, and he really hasn't transitioned fully to the position yet. And so just his development, and he's been able to, pick up the system, which, outside of the quarterback and the center, right? The next position to me that's the most difficult to pick up is the tight end position because of everything that you're involved in, right? You do so much, and he's fit right in. He's meshed well with the guys, in that room. So you got some traditional tight ends which think a little different, and you got a wide out coming in. So it's just been awesome to see him persevere, overcome the adversity, have success, and he's building trust in every one of his teammates, and he's going to get an opportunity. And Sackett's going to have to get an opportunity, and with Sage going down, and then one injury was Takai's shoulders banged up, so he's going to be down for a little while. Now John Rogers, as a freshman, is going to have to be ready, right? Because when you're playing 12 personnel, 2 of those guys on the field, and you got to have 4 or 5 guys ready to go. But just super proud of him. Because now what you're seeing a reflection of his character, because now everybody's seeing him, but they didn't see the 2 years, man, this young man had to persevere through just to get himself back healthy enough to play football.
J.R. Wilson.
Yep.
Emergence was one of the big stories.
It was.
In the spring, then he had the setback in camp. What does his return potentially mean for you?
Yeah, I think it helps Malachi from the standpoint of that's where he was at the position behind Malachi, and so it takes a little bit of stress off of Malachi from a snap count standpoint, and I think he gives you the same similar production as what Malachi is doing over there. So in my years of calling plays, man, whenever you had that 2-headed monster, especially into the boundary with 2 guys that could stay fresh and they could just keep attacking, man, it really helps, the offense. And then, as we play, there's going to be bumps and bruises and guys going to be nicked up. That also gives us some flexibility because, he can play multiple spots too. And I'm excited about his return because, as you mentioned, he was catching everybody's eye with how he was performing in fall camp.
Coach, how important is it for you as a coach and this coaching staff to maintain the momentum that you guys have had throughout this early portion of the season? And how do you kind of replicate that, with a bye week of just keeping guys focused and locked in heading into this next year?
Yeah, it's huge that we have momentum, right? And we've tried to compartmentalize and just help these guys stay present in the moment, understand the big picture, but stay present in the moment. And so we've kind of looked at our season in 3 portions, right? We got the first 4 bye week, the middle 4, right, bye week, and then the last 4. And so, and then also too, I got to earn their trust every single day. And so the kind of the way that we looked at this open week is we need to recover, right? Because we sprinted hard for 4. Bodies are beat up a little bit. We need to recover. We got to recalibrate where we evaluate ourselves, and then we got to reload and get ready to go for the next one. And we know that now every one of them is ACC play. And, at the present moment, we're in the driver's seat, right? We control our own destiny, right? And we got a great stretch here with 4 ACC games in a row. They're all going to be physical. So, trying to balance seeing the big picture, but not staying focused on the big picture, because in order for the big picture to ultimately come to fruition, it's what do you do daily. So we kept our same themes of the day. Monday was Mindset Monday, and I told them that it wasn't an off week, it was just an open week, right? That just means we don't play, right? We got to stay in our battle rhythm, so to speak, but then also give them a little bit of time for their bodies to recover. And I think that's one of the things that I learned over my years with Coach Sweeney is just trying to manage the schedule, right? Because as coaches, we want to go. Like coaches, like we're wired a certain way, but like we're also not playing, right? Our bodies are not going through practice every single day. So it's been a good open week for us. I think the guys are excited. Man, they had a good practice today, very spirited practice today. I think the guys understand the opportunity that they have, and they can't waste a moment. And I think they've enjoyed kind of the preparation that we did last week, and now they're back in game mode and trying to reestablish that rhythm. So hopefully that'll lead to us maintaining the momentum. But we got a lot to prove still, right? Like at the end of the day, we're where we wanted to be or where we thought we would be, but that's it. Right? We still got it's all about what's in front of us, and we got BC, a football team that really should be undefeated. Right, they're a couple plays away, and man, they went to Tallahassee, right? Like they went to Tallahassee, and they won, and then they went on the road to Missouri, and could have won that game, and then they beat a really good Big Ten team, at home, right? And then they overcame some adversity last week with their quarterback being down, and so like I think the guys understand, who's coming in here, but also too like. They're coming to take what we want, and we need to be a football team that defends our home stadium. Like that's really been the message and the motivation. If you want to be honest, like we have not been good in Scott Stadium under this coaching staff, and I want that to change, and I believe the players want that to change. But BC is not going to give it to us. Man, we got to go take it even in our home stadium. So I think we got a lot to get refocused on. Ahead of us and the opportunities, but you're still dealing with young people and keeping them motivated daily. If I knew the answer completely, man, I'd probably be a very wealthy man because I could write some books and help some folks. But I tell you what, it's also fun too. Man, it's a lot of fun to be around, and there's a lot of things that the outside world doesn't get to see. Right, we get judged for 3 hours based off of the plays that are happening on the field, but there's a lot more that goes into it, which makes our jobs as coaches so special.
And how impressed have you been in terms of discipline, just how few penalties you guys have had through these 4 games?
Man, I was hoping that you didn't bring that up. Let me knock on some wood, man. We got, but we talk about it, and you can see over there we have our plan to win, right? So we have a plan. To win, and one is to be, the more disciplined team, right? And so far the guys have done a good job, and in years past we hadn't done a good job, and so I think the guys are understanding what it really takes to truly be, successful and compete and win at a high level. Man, you can't beat yourself. That's where it starts, man. Don't lose to yourself. Don't beat yourself. And I think that just overall from a program teaching these young men and young ladies that are connected to the program that you want freedom in life is discipline leads to freedom, right? And so I think they're just really embracing that, and hopefully we can keep that trend up because we beat ourselves a lot last year, right? And the year before that, like we beat ourselves, and I think the guys don't like if we're gonna lose, somebody needs to beat us, like just flat out beat us. But it feels a little different when you look back and you're like, man, we gave that one away, or we beat ourselves because we weren't disciplined. So hopefully it'll continue to resonate with the guys.
Yeah, you talk about keeping guys fresh, especially on the offensive
Mhm.
line. With Boley coming back, is there any flexibility? I mean, obviously Whitmer's had a good start to the year about moving positions.
Yeah.
Get both those guys on the field. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, so man, we've had about every combination that we could possibly have out there. Just one, rewarding guys because they've earned the right to play, and then secondly, just trying to gain some experience and figure out what the right combination is. So you've seen Jack a little bit at right and left. That's going to help both Boley, and that's going to help Blake. And then you've seen Jimmy play right and left. So definitely gives us some flexibility because again, it's a long season. We're just 4 games in, getting ready to play game 5 of 12. So we need all the experience and flexibility and different combinations that we can possibly have.
And then last game, obviously a different role kind of for Anthony Calandria.
Mhm.
Just kind of a lot more run
Yeah.
focused. Didn't really have to throw too many big passes in the game. Just what did you see from him in that game as far as his development and his growth, especially coming off the Maryland game where he had a couple of turnovers?
That's right, and for him as a quote unquote younger guy, every game's going to be a learning opportunity and experience for him. And what he was able to learn is that I just need to be a quarterback, right? And I just need to do what's necessary for the team to win. And sometimes that's going to be me extending a play and making a spectacular play. Sometimes it's going to be just making the routine play, right? And how I hand the ball off and burst off my fake, right, is important, and that needs to be just as important as me making the spectacular play and making the crowd roar. So, but the funnest thing was to watch him celebrate with his teammates and to watch him come up to me during the game and be excited about how we're taking care of the ball and we hadn't turned the ball over. And so seeing growth in those areas, because he wants to be a complete quarterback and he wants to win at a high level. And so he's eager to learn. And so the last time out was just a great opportunity for him to learn that some games, man, you put it in the other playmakers' hands and let them go. And then there's going to be times where, the ball's in your hand and you got to go make a play. And I think the biggest thing, this week is, man, he's got another great quarterback on the other side, right? And he needs to focus on his game, and stay win his one-on-one matchups on the field, but not get caught up in, a one-on-one matchup. And so that's really been the message to him is like, okay, ACC play, a lot's on the line. Got another great quarterback from the state of Florida, right? Similar play styles. I just need AC to be AC, right? And go as the game goes. And then if you do that, then you'll have an opportunity, at the end, right, to hopefully be victorious.
Your core special teams, your big special
Mhm.
units are all improved from last year.
Yeah.
Statistically. Any reason
Yeah,
you think
except that punt we got blocked, and we were able to overcome that, right? So as a coach, we always focus on those things. But I think guys buy-in. I think first and foremost the guys have really bought in. Coach Gaither's done a great job, him and Drew Meyer, just with the organization and the incorporation of all of the coaching staff. And so, we've broken up some of our special teams and given more ownership to different coaches on the staff, and hoping that also translates to the position room, right? So that there's a culture and an atmosphere of special teams. And I think the guys are, you look at our plan to win, number 3 is be special on special teams, right? And so it's a third of the game, right? It's a third of the game, and it can have a tremendous impact on the game. Look at the last time out, right? Opening kickoff, Danley goes down, he knocks the ball loose, right? Like that like changed the game, like right out the gate. You go from, defense going on the field to now offense has the ball right around the 13-yard line or something like that. And then boom, a couple plays later you score. And so it's also part of complementary football. So I think the ownership, the organization, and guys just really buying in, and then we've been able to, I think with some additions to the roster, improve some of the core positions to give us a little bit more flexibility from a personnel standpoint.
And something big picture, you always said today, the ACC race is wide open. That's something I haven't heard here. Said by
It is.
player in a while. Do you like that?
I mean,
Your players are believing it. Can you sense that more?
Yeah, I mean, like in order to achieve it, man, you gotta believe it, right? And so, but we're not focusing on, the big picture, other than, hey, look, this is where you wanted to be, right? Like, and that's kind of the way that, I try to keep them focused too. Is like, man, this is where you wanted to be, right? So keep staying committed and focused, but I mean, why not? Like why not? Why go into it believing, oh well, it should be these other 2 teams, right? Like we got to play all 12. They have to play all 12, and we believe that, you put us on the field with anybody, man, we got a chance, right? But our confidence is starting to come from, I believe, the work we put in, right? The sacrifices that we're willing to make. And then the love that we have, for each other as a team. So now I don't want them to, come across as arrogant, right? Because that's definitely not the case. Like we know that, man, it's gonna be earned, right? And it's gonna be tough sledding. But where we sit right now, this is where guys, believe that they would be, right? You got to take a second to recognize that, right? Or else you could get completely lost in the in the mundane, right? But you also want to kind of, smell the roses a little bit along the way. But I think they also understand that we really haven't done anything yet, and we got a lot more to prove, right? And we still remember kind of where we were picked at the beginning of the season, right? And we want to prove ourselves right. Not so much prove everybody else wrong, but prove ourselves right. And you got to have some belief. You got to have a little bit of confidence, right? So.
You mentioned Castellanos a couple of times.
Yeah.
today. Just talk about the challenge of the team.
Man, he's dynamic. I mean, he's special. He's a big play magnet, and you're starting to see like the growth and maturity from him as well, right? And I don't know him personally, but just watching him on tape as an outsider, man, you're seeing his numbers are starting to improve, especially in the passing game. His passing efficiency is up. You know, he looks, when you watch him on tape, he looks like he's in good command of what they're doing. And he also knows he has that kind of that joker in his back pocket, because he can pull the ball down and he can go. And he's lightning quick. He's extremely fast. He's a tough runner too, for his size. So the challenge for us is going to start with our eyes. You know, our eyes. We're going to have great eye discipline, right? We're also going to have great rush lane integrity when we do rush. So we got to stay in our gaps, stay in our lanes. We got to keep our eyes on him. You know, guys in coverage are going to have to do a great job of sticking with their guys, because he can extend plays, you know, a lot like AC. Like, he can get out of the pocket and he can keep plays alive, and he has a good knack for keeping them alive and then finding guys downfield for big plays. And then you got the design quarterback run that you got to be ready for, which is going to be challenging, because they have a lot of misdirection and they have some combos in there. So it's a great challenge for us, but I think it's going to start with preparation, formation recognition. That's what defensive football is formation recognition in certain situations, and kind of what plays come off of those different formations. Eye discipline, and then we got to make sure that we stay, you know, fundamentally sound, and then we have a chance to tackle him. Man, we got to get him on the ground. He's not going to go down with an arm tackle. You got to put your body on him to get him on the ground. And
what is the luxury of having a place kicker here is pretty comfortable between 40 and 50?
Yeah, so it's and I'm getting used to this, because now analytics is a big part of it, and you probably seen we've been a little bit more aggressive because of analytics in some of the fourth down situations, but also too, you know, it helps you as a coach kind of in the momentum and the human element of the game, right? So whereas the book may say, hey, you need to go for it, but it's like, hey, man, I got a kicker here. I need to take points, right, for the football team, right? So it's been good to see, you know, Bettridge, you know, go out there and man, put him through, and hopefully, you know, as he continues to develop, I mean, that range may improve. But it helps, you know, as a coach, to know that you're not always in a situation where you have to go for it, right? That you can put points on the board when those guys go out there. And I think there's a lot of confidence that when that unit goes on the field, that they're going out there to score points. So, and then also too, you know, Sparky, he helps you with punting too, right? From an analytics standpoint. So it just kind of helps bring everything into perspective, and then you can feel good about managing the human element, but then also you can lean on the analytics when you need to.